I'm Shannon Martin. Tonight, diversity, culture, and community. Toronto Caribbean Carnival takes over the lakeshore.
Carnival is rooted in slavery, so there's a lot behind it. There's a lot of meaning behind Carnival. And
our West Indian culture is community-based culture, so it's like preserving community and culture.
Organizers promising a showcase of freedom and pageantry with as many as 2 million people taking in the Grand Parade. And
there's 200 of them. There's not as many as us. There's a giant Caribbean festival happening downtown Toronto right now. So we're being pulled in different directions.
Police struggle to contain a crowd at a Toronto park after violence breaks out, sending 9 people to hospital. Plus,
being a Toronto guy and then obviously being in the playoffs, having friends and family come down and support, it's a wonderful feeling. But it's great overall for cricket, which is first and foremost in my mind, is to grow cricket in Canada. That's what this tournament is all about, giving local guys a platform to showcase their abilities and talents, and hopefully great things await.
a big weekend for cricket as an international tournament in Brampton heads into the finals.
This is CBC Saturday News.
Thanks for joining us. We're tracking developing news out of the west end of Toronto this hour. 9 people were sent to hospital after violence erupted at a festival. Let's bring in our Travis Danraj. He's standing by live for us tonight. Hey, Travis.
Hey there, Shannon. Yeah, pretty scary scene here earlier at Earls Court Park where we are right now. As you can see, a major police presence. You heard in the headlines there that police are also dealing with Caravana festivities that are going on right now. So this is a pretty significant drain on police resources right now, but there are dozens of police officers here on horses as well. And you can see that group in the blue shirts back there. Well, they were the protesters that say that they're going to be here for quite some time. They clashed earlier with the festival. Around here right now, and we'll show you, actually right behind me here, there's a field where some kids are playing soccer. Well, these protesters were throwing things onto that field earlier. There's a festival going on as well, and as you said, Shannon, this cultural festival turned into a political protest, and it was bloody. It happened early this morning, chaos breaking out at an Eritrean festival near St. Clair in Caledonia.
They started jumping towards the tents where the barbecues are, lighting things on fire, breaking down the poles.
Those attending what was billed as a family-friendly event say a group that opposes the Eritrean government showed up to protest. Things quickly turned violent. Police say in total 9 were injured and taken to hospital.
We had multiple people either go to the hospital, be bandaged up for bleeding and things like that.
1 individual was stabbed, 8 others treated for non-life-threatening injuries. After the initial incident, the protesters dispersed, but a short time later returned as tensions heightened. They believe money from the festival will go to the Eritrean government, one that has been heavily criticized for human rights abuses. Organizers dispute that claim.
It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a fabricated lie. And these people, I don't know. We don't know that.
So really, it's kind of been a push and pull with these two groups it's really been a push and pull, Shannon, with these two groups all day long. Things will flare up and then they'll die down a little. Now, we are told that this group intends to stay here for the rest of the evening, and they'll also be here tomorrow. That's when another Eritrean festival is going to be happening as well downtown. And so the festival organizers say that is going to continue. We should tell you as well that we reached out to the Eritrean consulate here in Toronto. They say that they had no direct involvement in today's festival.
Okay, Travis, we are hearing, too, that Toronto isn't the only city to see these kinds of clashes.
Yeah, that's right. There was a huge clash recently in Stockholm. That was on Thursday. 52 people were injured at that festival, about 100 arrested. And this all comes as there are, continuing debate over what is happening in Eritrea right now. Human rights groups, as you heard in the item there, are saying that it has one of the worst human rights records in the world. Shannon?
Thanks, Travis. We know you'll keep tabs on all of it for us. We appreciate it. And just a reminder, if you're in the area, police are asking people to avoid the intersection. Now, that's at Caledonia and St. Clair Avenue. There is a large police presence there. Well, we have news out of Sudbury tonight. One person has died. Another is in custody after a shooting early this morning. We have few details from police at this hour. Officers only saying a handgun was recovered and there's no threat to public safety. Police say the alleged offender and victim knew each other. Now, there's no information on who they are and if any charges have been laid. Switching gears now, you're looking live at Lakeshore West in Toronto. The Toronto Caribbean Carnival Grand Parade taking over, a celebration of emancipation, of freedom, diversity, and culture. Well, let's go to Patrick Swadden. He's been there all day, and he joins us now. Hey, Patrick.
Yeah, hey Shannon, like you said, we've been on the parade route all day and the atmosphere has been absolutely electric. I don't think there's a single person that came out today that does not know how to have fun. So if you look around me right now, you can just see thousands of people, and really that is what Carnival is all about. It's about getting thousands of people to come out and celebrate Caribbean culture, the dancing, the costumes, the music, the food. But Shannon, for many people, it's about so much more.
Some are newcomers.
It's our first time here, so we're enjoying the experience.
Others keep coming back.
The energy is up, 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 up.
But everyone dancing their way through Toronto's streets for the Grand Parade at this year's Caribbean Carnival. The procession features 10,000 unique masqueraders, and Sunlime, one of the mass bands taking part. Leader Dwayne Gunnis says it had its roots in the early 2000s.
Kids grew up and they decided, okay, we need our own band.
And that's just what they did, going from dozens to official mass band status in 2015 to now nearly 800 masqueraders, winning first place medium-sized band last year.
We started off as a very small band, so I'm so happy to see us elevate to medium status, and we're pushing to get to larger status, and every year we grow and every year we do better, and I'm super excited to see where we go the next few years as well.
But that means putting a lot of work into preparation.
We've been up since 6 this morning.
But it's not just about the music and costumes. Gunnis's stepdaughter Ashlyn Dawson saying Carnival is about so much more than what you see on the outside.
We give so much to the city of Toronto in terms of culture, and our history is so important. You know, Carnival is rooted in slavery, so there's a lot behind it. There's a lot of meaning behind Carnival.
The Grand Parade coming at the beginning of August, now known as Emancipation Month, recognizing the struggle for human rights and rich contributions from people of Afro-Caribbean descent.
For me, it's all about preserving our history and our culture and our heritage.
Carnival is entrenched in most Trinidadians' bloods.
But even as the celebrations hold deep meaning for those taking part, the atmosphere, spirited, joyful, exuberant.
Overall, it's beautiful weather, beautiful pageantry, the recognition that's the beginning of the recognition of emancipation.
Now, Shannon, I think it's almost needless to say that these celebrations are far from over. You can hear the music going on behind me, and there are just thousands of people down here at Exhibition Place, probably tens of thousands really at this point. So if you haven't had a chance to come down and enjoy the sun, enjoy the culture, the food, the festivities, the dancing and the costumes, now's your chance. These people are going to be here for quite a while. Shannon?
Okay, Patrick, and so will you. We'll check in with you a little later on in the show. And Sophia is joining us now. Don't you wish we were out there in the sunshine instead of outside? It's such a great weekend in the city.
Yeah, the weather gods cooperated, and yeah, maybe after the show, Shannon, we'll pick you up and we'll head down there. Feels a little bit like the islands with the heat and the humidity we're going to be expecting for all of Carnival weekend. Saturday and Sunday, ideal for all the festivities. Monday, though, things fall off the rails a little bit. We'll talk about the end to this long weekend and the stormy end it will bring. Sunday, though, if you are out, yes, it will be feeling a little bit like the Caribbean. Humidex close to 30, high UV as well, so you want to lather on all of that sun protection. And going forward, we'll talk about some of the other events happening around the GTA, not just at Caribbean Carnival, but also at Wonderland, the fireworks on Sunday. Weather will be cooperating for that as well. Just a touch of humidity and seasonal conditions for really a glorious start to the long weekend. Monday, though, high pressure clears and this big stormy system comes in late Sunday into Monday morning. 2 rounds coming up in the long range. We'll talk about how between Monday and Tuesday, some of you, especially along any of the shorelines around Erie and Ontario, could amount up to 50 to 75 millimeters of rainfall, and it's going to be wet and rainy and stormy, Shannon, for anybody heading home from the cottage on Monday morning as well.
Yeah, we'll have to keep that in mind if you're going to be on the roads. Thanks, Sophia.
Yeah, you're welcome. We'll talk about it more coming up.
Okay. Peel Police releasing video showing alleged car thieves in action. You're gonna take a look at this. This is from May 15th. You can see it there in the Mayfield area. Officers have identified 1 suspect so far. As you can see, quite a scary situation there. The 1 suspect is 39-year-old Calvin Peacock. Police say they're also looking for a 2nd suspect in connection with some of the thefts. Now, he's described as 5'8" with a thin build, short black hair, a full beard, and wears glasses. Anyone with information should contact police. Turning to BC, where job action that disrupted Canada's busiest port is now over. Workers voting in favor of the latest tentative agreement. The job action impacted 30 West Coast ports, including the country's busiest. That would be Vancouver. Members of the International Longshore and Warehouse Union had gone on strike for 13 days last month. Contract talks began back in February, with the union serving a notice of dispute a month later. Now, workers rejected the first 2 offers. Details are not public yet, but the union says the new deal includes better wages, benefits, and training. Meantime, Metro grocery store workers remain off the job in the GTA. It's now week 2 of that strike. We caught up with Unifor's national president, who today was taking in the Grand Parade at Toronto Caribbean Carnival.
Probably the most important strike for low-wage workers that we've seen in a generation in Canada, and they have spoken very clearly about the fact that they need to be able to share in the profits that they help earn and make every single year, and they just have not been keeping pace.
Unionized workers at some 27 Metro locations remain on the picket line, many telling CBC News they can't afford to shop for groceries where they work. Now, last year, Metro's net earnings were $922 million. That's the highest profits the company has ever recorded in its history. After years of debate starting today, parts of High Park in Toronto are now car-free. What that means is about 60% of the park's 560 parking spaces are gone. The main vehicle entrance will be at Parkside Drive and High Park Boulevard. Dedicated bike lanes are also being added. The city says it started talking to the community about these changes back in 2021. Thousands of residents weighed in on the plan. The city says this is just phase 1, with more changes to come. Turning to North Bay next, where organizers of the Pride Parade say this year there's no time to celebrate with the increasing hate against the LGBTQ community. Instead, they're planning a protest demanding more equity and inclusion.
It's a powerful statement as a group, as a community, with our allies and community supporters to say, enough with the hate. We've had enough. We're fed up. We're fed up of the misinformation around the trans community and our drag performers. We are fed up of the hate online and the misinformation that you all keep sharing, that we're going to take a stand where we're going to end hate in Ontario and Canada, because it's not fair to anybody. No one in Canada should be subjected to that kind of hate.
That was the events director of communications, Jason McClellan, speaking from Levine, which is just outside of North Bay. If you're out celebrating this long weekend, a reminder to stay safe on the roads.
I spent 37 years as a police officer and dealt with all kinds of incidents, impaired incidents, fatal collisions involving impaireds. You get an understanding of it, but until it actually, there's always a personal aspect But once it's one of your own family members, it's devastating. When
his son Stuart was killed by an impaired driver in 2017, leaving behind 2 sons and a wife. His family now helps campaign with Mad Canada. Their message is not one more. Impaired driving, whether by alcohol or drugs, continues to kill or injure more Canadians than any other crime.
Ah, nice, beautiful.
It's the final weekend at an international cricket tournament in Brampton. It's been a chance for local players to share the pitch with some of the biggest stars from around the globe. I had a chance to catch up with Toronto's Amar Khalid. He says he feels very fortunate to be taking part.
Being a Toronto guy and then obviously being in the playoffs, having friends and family come down and support, it's a wonderful feeling. But it's great overall for cricket, which is first and foremost in my mind. It's to grow cricket in Canada. That's what this tournament is all about, giving local guys a platform to showcase their abilities and talents, and hopefully great things await. So I was born in Pakistan, so cricket is blood, it's a lifeline. Was not particularly interested in playing as much. I was more of a fan. Started playing actually when I came to Canada, and consider myself a fairly late bloomer in the sport, but I've managed to do well over the last 6-7 years of playing this sport at a high level.
So in that time, tell us, because you've probably seen the growth of cricket in Canada, even from 6-7 years ago to where we are today, it's just been an explosion.
No, absolutely. And Canada's got a rich history in cricket to begin with. So as most people know, Canada has been a part of Cricket World Cups in the past. And historically the team's done really well at the associate level. So, and like any journey, it's had its ups and downs. And unfortunately, for a certain period of time there, we weren't able to represent the country at the highest level. But then, when Coach Pubudu took over last year, we've had a pretty amazing run, I'd like to say, and managed to get back the ODI status, which is incredibly, it's a huge accomplishment once again, to be able to compete at the highest level when it comes to 50-over cricket. So once again, Canada cricket is on the rise, right? And then GT20 just came back this year. It's looking good for the next few years. We've got a lot of ODI cricket, T20I cricket coming up. There's 2 World Cups in the next 4 years. So a ton of cricket coming up for Canada at the highest level. So things are looking very positive.
I know you're probably laser focused on the playoffs right now, but in the next little while, what's next for you? Where can we watch you?
Fortunate to be part of the Canadian circuit. So right after GT20, I think training starting for the national team, and then in September we have the World Cup qualifiers, the T20 World Cup qualifiers. I believe that's taking place in Bermuda. Not sure if that's going to be live streamed or not, or if there's going to be videos available, but that's where you can catch the Canadian team next. And a lot of the guys that are performing well in this tournament, you'll be able to see them. But if you want to see guys play locally, King City is where the highest level of cricket is played in Toronto. So on any Saturday, Sunday, you can come down to King City and watch all your favorite Canadian players play.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. All the best out there today. We're going to be so excited to watch you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks. We're heading into a quick commercial break, but before we go, this is where we're going next. Toronto Caribbean Carnival, live and underway this weekend. Music, costumes, celebration, and food. We're going to check out some of the favorites on the menu at the festival. That's straight ahead. You're looking live at the festivities underway at Toronto Caribbean Carnival. It's billed as North America's biggest street festival, attracting close to 2 million people at the Grand Parade. One of them is our Patrick Swat, and he's back with us again. We'll find him there, someone. I have a feeling after this we're going to feel a little hungry. Is that right, Patrick?
Yeah, I think so, Shannon. We talked a little bit earlier on in the show about the culture and the history and, seeing all these masqueraders out on the street. Now, one thing I didn't see much of earlier was a lot of the food, which, as you know, is such a big part of Caribbean culture. Now, I will say that as we were on the parade route, I did see some of the masqueraders going off to the side to just have a little food break. It is hard work masquerading down the streets, and you do want to have a little bite, but there was plenty for people to eat here at the end. And I actually live nearby, Shannon, and in Liberty Village I was able to walk by the King and Queen Showcase as well as the Pan Alive Steel event. There were food vendors galore. So food has been a very big part of this weekend, and we caught up with some of the food vendors at the end of the parade route here, and they were just happy to be serving Caribbean fare.
Oh my gosh, well, just the pageantry of the whole day is amazing. It's amazing. But the food, there's quite a few different West Indian delights all around. We make Guyanese pastries. So we make pine tarts and sponge cake and mithai, and we have a pine drink.
So we have rice, curry chicken.
We make authentic Trinidadian pepper sauces as well as Trinidadian food. Pilau, which is rice and pigeon peas cooked in coconut milk and chicken.
So Shannon, obviously lots still to enjoy here. You've got food everywhere, we've got dancing, the sun is still shining. And I will mention to you right now that tomorrow there is an international food festival and Pan Indie Park featuring pan steel drumming. That's taking place at Malvern Park tomorrow at 2 p.m. Shannon?
Okay, we're all definitely hungry now. Thanks so much, Patrick. Have a great night. He's reporting to us from the Lakeshore tonight. Well, we've all heard of a drive-through, but what about a boat-through? Tim Hortons is opening its first ever boat-through this weekend in Kawartha Lakes. A selection of cold drinks are being offered up for free right there on the water, from boats to canoes, kayaks, and even paddle boards. If you missed it today, don't worry. The Tim's Boat Through runs tomorrow, too, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can row by Beacon Marina, just a few minutes from Port Perry. And Sophia is joining us now. I think that's a pretty good idea.
I'm so into that.
Yes.
Kayak, stand-up paddleboard. Can you imagine balancing with a couple double-doubles, though?
Yeah, no, that might be a little dangerous.
Well, at least the weather will cooperate for some extra practice this weekend. What a beautiful start to the long weekend. All this high pressure that we're enjoying will move into the wings and allow for 2 swings of a low pressure system to come our way pre-dawn Monday, actually anywhere after late Sunday evening. So plan any outdoor events Sunday before the dinner hour. A second kick at the can Monday evening into Tuesday. But look at this. Monday, your drive down to 400 in the morning will be quite dicey before this system stalls out and moves into the nation's capital region for Monday evening into Tuesday. So all of Southern Ontario gets it at some point. We also get zip when it comes to hours of sunlight for Monday and Tuesday. And some of you, anywhere between Windsor up to Quebec City, could see 50 to 75 millimeters of rainfall along those shorelines out of this wet system. We are beginning August, how July ended, with lots of rain, humidity, and stable weather returns midweek, though, Shannon.
Okay, so some showers on the way. 75 millimeters is no joke.
For some of you, especially the ground is very saturated already.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, thanks, Sophia. We'll see you tomorrow night. That is our show for you tonight. We're heading back to the Lakeshore, where Toronto Caribbean Carnival is well underway. The Grand Parade running until 8 p.m. tonight. Keep in mind, lots of road closures and just lots of people out for a good time, having fun. We hope you have a great night, and we'll see you again tomorrow at 11.